Hey everyone, Joey here, and about 10 months ago or so, I did a video that you should stop buying handhelds and play some games. I even gave you some recommendations to start with. I'm not sure how many people actually took me up on that. So I figured today I would do an update on that video. Let you know what my progress has been going through with my top 100 retro achievements games list as a personal goal. And also, I thought I would merge this into giving you one game per system as a recommendation for myself to maybe help you play some more games. So first things first, I have absolutely failed in my task to get anywhere near playing or finishing the top 100 games on the retro achievements list. Now, it is not my fault. I have finished 31 retro games since that video, but I did get bogged down by finishing very long modern releases and also reading some books. 56 books from that video till now, which was 87 last year, if you want to know. But back to the modern games though. Astrobot, Doom the Dark Ages, Expedition 33, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Persona 5 Royal, Phoenix Wright Trilogy, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and all of these are hundreds of hours, plus the games that I haven't finished yet, of which I'm currently playing Persona 3 Reload. There is only so much time in a day, and sometimes I'm in the mood for playing a modern game, sometimes I'm in the mood for playing a retro game, sometimes it's a Pokemon game, and sometimes I just want to read. And a lot of times it's books, but it could be manga or whatever it is. So I'm kind of being pulled in 10 different directions. So I don't remember if I promised an update or not in that video, but either way, that's my update. So did not hit the goal, but I am pretty happy with where I stand in the 10 months of what I've played and how far I've gotten. The goal was always just to play games. I kind of set a high goal of 100 games, but I'm happy with where I'm at. Now, in that 10 months, there is 2 games that did stand out that I should recommend to you. The first, Expedition 33. Obviously, Clear Obscure Expedition 33, I did an entire video on, which I've never done before for a video game, and you should play it. That's the easiest way for me to put this. It should be Game of the Year. If it isn't, we are going to riot. Either way, play some Expedition 33. The second is a retro game, and it is Suikoden 1. I've never played Suikoden before. It ended up being a game of the season on the Discord. I played it. I love it. It's fantastic. I'm actually almost finished Suikoden 2 right now. I think I like Suikoden 1 more, but both are fantastic games. I don't know how I missed this at some point in my life, but I'm happy I discovered Suikoden now. So I guess my question is, how have you been doing in the last 10 months? Did you have any personal goals? Did you hit any of those personal goals? Not sure if anybody has goals like I do when it comes to games, but all of this is in service of playing more games. So for those of you that actually need help playing some games, what we're going to do now is going to talk about my favorite, or my picks, I guess, of games per system. Some of these are going to be my favorites. Some of these are going to be games that I think most people would like, all of that. But this is my list, so don't take it too seriously. These are just ones that I think, if I'm going to pick one per system, this would be my one per system. Starting with Game Boy, and it is Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. I have a very special fondness in my heart for 6 golden coins. I had the cart. I played the hell out of this as a kid on my original Game Boy, and I remember having a hell of a time with this game, and especially the last boss. I remember something with that last boss. This can be a frustrating game with how Mario moves compared to other Mario platformers, but I really like the design and I really like the levels. Alternatively, honestly, I could pick so many Game Boy games, but Adventure Island is another one. I have a lot of fondness for Adventure Island as a kid. I played a lot of it, and I loved it. The music is so much fun. Playing as the Adventure Island guy, which I remember his name, and now I have just forgotten it. Hugh? No, something like that. Either way, playing this game is so much fun, and Adventure Island is just so charming. Now, I will say, my favorite Game Boy game of all time is Pokemon Blue. But if I don't limit myself on Pokemon recommendations today, the entire list today would just be Pokemon games. Then we get to Game Boy Color, and it has to be Dragon Warrior Monsters. Or I guess sometimes it's called Dragon Quest Monsters, but it's the same game. Same exact scenario. I have no idea why I had this card as a kid. I had no fondness for Dragon Quest or Dragon Warriors back then, but I somehow had this cart and I played it so much. This is a very fun game. It is straight RPG with monsters. It is Pokemon style, but Dragon Quest. And there's some differences, of course. Now, I haven't beaten this game in a very long time. I tried a few months ago and then I put it down. I have to go back, but it is on my list to get back to soon. I remember having a tough time with this game because there was no walkthroughs back then. You couldn't Google a guide, and so you get lost very easily, and I remember that being a hiccup of mine. But nowadays, it's not really a problem. So if you want to play Pokemon with Dragon Quest, then this is it. Game Boy Advance is up next, and Pokemon Fire Red is my choice. Look, let's face it, all of today could be Pokemon games for each system. I've said it already. But I'm going to choose one. Not even my favorite Pokemon game, just the one that I think people should start with. And it's my choice. Do I have to explain Pokemon to you at all? Probably not. Another cart that I had as a kid and obviously played hundreds and hundreds of hours through. Pokemon is never ending. Pokemon is eternal. Fire Red is the best starting point in the series. Don't fight us, just join us. But I do have to give you a second because I love Game Boy Advance so much, and that's going to be Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. This is going to be a hot take, I think, but this is the best tactics game by a mile. It is so very good, and I have played Tactics since owning a Game Boy Advance way back when, all the way up to now. So I have played through it so many times. If you want quite possibly the best strategy RPG ever made, in my opinion, it's Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. NES is up next, and Super Mario Bros. 3 is my choice here. This is a nostalgia title again. I have very vivid memories of waiting in doctor's offices or dental offices as a kid. I can't remember which, but they would always have an NES and Super Mario Bros. 3. And so I would sit there and play them while I was waiting. And yeah, NES predates me. I only owned an SNES and then a Game Boy. That's where I started. So it is before me even, but it was always in my life everywhere I went. So it was easy access to NES whenever I wanted to. And Super Mario Bros. 3 is that game. Now, I played through it not too long ago, and it still holds up to this day, and it is something that everybody should play. Doctors and dentists' office should bring back consoles in their waiting rooms. But also, I haven't been to one of those for kids in a long time, so I don't know if they have those for kids. Maybe they do. Let me know in the comments. Are consoles still there in waiting rooms for dentist and doctor's offices for kids? Then we get to the Super Nintendo. And there is only one choice here, and it is Super Mario World. I mean, look, there is an absolute ton of great games on the Super Nintendo, but Super Mario World is one of my favorite games of all time. It is a perfect video game by every metric. This game just oozes everything that we all love about retro gaming. The controls, the art style, the music, all of it. This obviously isn't a hot take, but yeah, Super Mario World is a special game to me, and it is special as well. I have vivid memories of playing this game for hours and hours and hours. It is hard to describe how much this game probably shaped my life for video games. Finally, we get a Zelda, and it is Nintendo 64, and it is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Is this a hot take? I actually have no idea, but Ocarina is the best Zelda game of all time, and I don't think it's close, to me. I would say it is nostalgia again. I got Ocarina and an N64 at Christmas as a kid, and I remember calling up a friend because I got stuck in the deco tree. I forgot and didn't realize that you could light up one of the sticks with fire to get out of a room, and I got stuck, and I called up my friend on Christmas morning and had him help me walk through it to get out of there. Because again, no guides, none of that, unless you bought one as a magazine, and so you get stuck very quickly, especially in Ocarina. But Ocarina is, again, it's just a perfect video game to me. 3D Zelda. It has awkward controls because of the Nintendo 64, but it has all of the heart. It has dark scenes, it has happy scenes, a great story. It is just awesome. Paper Mario, The Thousand Year Door on GameCube is up next. And I have a GameCube. I have this game, but I don't recall my GameCube years at all. At this point, I had shifted to PC gaming from what I remember. Warcraft 3 took years off of my life until World of Warcraft came out. But back to this game, I think I have more fondness for Paper Mario 64, but Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door is up there, and it is a good entry. I'll be honest, I don't know what else I would pick from the GameCube, because I don't have the reverence or nostalgia for it. That goes for Wii as well. I didn't have one, I didn't own one, and I actually didn't know many people that did. But if you do want a Wii game, it's going to be Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn for me. I discovered this way after the Wii, but it is Fire Emblem and it is a good one. I remember trying to locate a copy, a disc-based copy, when I got my Wii U. Yeah, I had a Wii U, but not a Wii. I'm that person. But it was so very expensive, and when I did play it, I enjoyed it quite a bit. So that is my memories of the Wii. It was on the Wii U and it was Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. Bringing it back to handheld gaming, and we have the Nintendo DS, and I struggled with this one. My answer here is Pokemon Soul Silver, by a mile. But you don't want to hear about Pokemon anymore. So my second answer is Nintendogs. But you probably don't want to hear about Nintendogs either at this point. But Nintendogs was the absolute best. It was so much fun, especially if you had a dog or wanted a dog. This was just charming way back then. So I guess my actual answer for Nintendo DS is the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney games. First games on this list that I discovered recently through Steam, actually, but I would choose it for the DS as well. Ace Attorney is an awesome series that I am sad that I did not experience when it started years ago, but having played it this year, I'm so invested in the Ace Attorney series that I have bought all of the games, I am playing through them all, I am having an absolute blast. Now, Ace Attorney is a visual novel detective style game, and it has great story, great characters, and it will take you on a journey. This might be the gateway drug for a lot of you to get into visual novel style games. Another good example of that is 999. 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. That can also be a good option for the DS as well. PlayStation 1 is up next, and this one is actually super difficult. I have a slim PS1. It was modded, and is still modded, and I had so many games for it. Threads of Fate, one of my favorite hidden gem games, and a game that I grew up playing. Harvest Moon, Back to Nature, one of my favorite games of all time on any system, and so many others. But I have to give it to Final Fantasy VII here. Yeah, it's a hot take again, I know, but when I think of PlayStation 1, I think of Final Fantasy VII. And you could pick any of the others, Final Fantasy VIII or 9, or even Tactics if you want. They are all great, but 7 is where my memories are as a kid. 7 is where my nostalgia is. 7 is where my thoughts go, always. But again, I could just keep going with PlayStation 1. I have played so many great games on that system way back when. And there's a lot that you can say about it. Again, my favorite game is Harvest Moon, Back to Nature for PS1. I'm not sure if it has aged well. I'm not sure if it would be good for others to experience, but Final Fantasy VII probably fits that bill a little bit better for more people. Then we get to the PlayStation 2. And this is worse than the GameCube and Wii for me. I didn't have one. I never had a PS2. Never knew anybody who had one. Can't remember any memories of it. I was fully on PC gaming at this point, and so my only connection to PS2 is what I have played recently or what I played way after it came out. Even Simpsons Hit and Run, I remember playing that on PC instead of PS2. But I think that might be my answer. Simpsons Hit and Run. Is that blasphemy for the PS2 and how many good games it has? Probably. Should I have pretended to have had a PS2? Maybe. Honestly, there is a lot of games on the system that catch my eye and I will be getting to, but it's just a system that I missed as a kid growing up. Now, I did play Final Fantasy X, however, I played that on the Vita, so I don't know if it counts. But we can't have 2 Final Fantasy games today, just like we can't have 2 Pokemon games today. PlayStation Portable is up next, and I never had one. Same with the Vita. Yes, I somehow skipped all of these, but there is one game that came from the PSP that is an instant recommendation, and it is my favorite visual novel game and one of my favorite gaming series of all time, and it is Danganronpa. I would scream from the rooftops about Danganronpa if I could. It is so damn good. I remember discovering it, I think during the PS4 era, and I started up the first game with 0 expectations. And then I remember spending an entire weekend going through it, only stopping for food and bathroom breaks. And I could not put it down until I finished that first game. Danganronpa is a murder mystery game following high school students who get forced into murdering each other. And that's really the only synopsis that I can give you because of spoilers. Do not look this one up, just play it. But we can do Vita quickly here. My first Vita was purchased during a trip to Japan back in 2018. Naturally, I had to play the only game that actually exists on the Vita, and it is Persona 4 Golden. That one save from 2018 followed me to Steam, followed me to Game Pass, and then all the way back to Steam again when I finally finished it this year and finished Persona 4 Golden 7 years after starting it. Persona 4 Golden on the Vita is my easy recommendation for any Vita lovers, obviously. The hottest of takes, I know, I'm aware, but Persona, it is so good. Then we get to the Nintendo 3DS, and yeah, I played my 3DS an absolute ton. What an amazing system. You have no idea how much I am waiting for retro achievements for 3DS games. I will lose my mind when that finally happens. But my favorite 3DS game of all time is Fantasy Life. Yeah, that Fantasy Life, the same one that just came out a few months ago, except the prequel to it on 3DS. Look, there is a lot of 3DS games and a lot of fantastic 3DS games. I could keep going on this, but this is just my pick. I love this game. It is just so charming. It is so fun. You are playing a life sim game. You can be a hunter, a magician, a miner, a woodcutter, and so on. And you just need to complete tasks and play through the game, and it is just a super chill, fun game. But again, I could pick another 10 games on 3DS easily. Stella Glow, an underrated game that I don't think a lot of people have played. Fire Emblem Awakening, it saved the Fire Emblem series. It's a fantastic game. Link Between Worlds, really good Zelda game. And so many more. The 3DS catalog is just awesome. Last for today is the Nintendo Wii U. Yeah, I had one. Yeah, I know that makes no sense given that I skipped a lot of the popular consoles today, but I did have a Wii U. My answer here is Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. You want to talk about some of the best platformers ever made? Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze needs to be on that list. What an absolute fantastic game from start to end. And just an absolute beautiful platformer. It is my favorite Donkey Kong game, for sure, by far. And it is just an absolute blast. And I am super glad that I played it when I did. That's really all I have for you today. Now, if you were wondering, where is all the Sega consoles? Because I'm going to guess a lot of people are wondering that. I didn't know anybody that had one. I didn't have one. Nobody I knew had one. There was maybe one kid in my entire school that I can remember that maybe had one of those and probably showed up at school with it. But my memories of Sega consoles is when I would go to Toys R Us to go buy a game and you would see the pop-up there of the Dreamcast with Sonic, and I would play it for 2 minutes. And then I would leave and go play a real console. I'm kidding. And then I would leave and go play my consoles at home. But I didn't know anybody with Sega consoles, never had any experience with them, never played them. It's just something I was never exposed to. To this day, I don't even remember the Saturn releasing. Like, the Saturn to me came out way after. It was just like, oh, and then there was a Sega Saturn. I'm like, what are you talking about? What's a Sega Saturn? That's where my memories are these things did not exist to me. And I didn't even grow up in a weird area. I was in Toronto, so I would have had exposure to these if they were popular enough. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to know your games in the comments. You don't have to do every system unless you want to, but let me know, what are your one pick per system that you care about? And that way we can get a good list of games going for everybody. You can just look at the comments, you can look at my video, and just build together a list of games you want to play. I think that's the best way to do this. I think the next time I do one of these videos, I might do a top 10 favorite video games of all time video for myself. It would be very hard for me to do. It would upset a lot of people, but I think that might be the next play. Maybe. We'll see. Don't forget to like and sub to help the channel grow. Come join me on the Discord to talk all about retro gaming. Support me through YouTube membership if you like my stuff. And hope you all have a good one.